Hello and welcome to this yoga flow. If you are a beginner to the practice, it would be really handy to have at least 2 yoga blocks with you. We're going to begin standing up, so coming to the center of your mat, your feet hip width apart, and you can bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle so you have cactus arms, and begin rotating through the chest, swinging your arms to the left and the right. As you begin to warm up through the body, you might like to extend your arms out a little bit longer, really trying to bring the movement through your upper chest and your upper back. If you start to feel a little bit dizzy, you can keep your gaze ahead, or you might like to follow and look behind with your arms as they swing side to side. Trying to keep the breath as slow and deep, sending it down towards your abdomen as possible while doing these movements. And then slowly beginning to decrease the motion as you come to a still standing position. Now from here, we're going to move down onto the mat into your tabletop position. So coming down with me, your hands will be under or just above your shoulders, your fingers spread wide, your knees hip width apart. With your hands, move your weight into your knuckles, releasing any compression in the wrist, and almost feel like your forearms are lifting up. And start pressing into the hands by moving the fingers out to the side and then sending them back towards the end of the mat. Keep this movement going, bringing some warmth in through your forearms. And then placing the fingers so they face the front of the room. Grounding your knuckles into the mat, you're going to use that strength to lift your palm and thumb up off the floor, and then slowly lowering back down. Doing this a few times, and again, trying to remain consistent and slow with your breath. Then we're going to move back into Malasana, our child's pose. So bringing the toes together, your knees wide, and send the hips back towards the heels, lengthening your arms out long in front of you. From here, press into the hands as you roll forward, lengthening through the spine, vertebra by vertebra, and then bringing the hips to the mat and moving into cobra pose, opening up through your chest. Rolling back through the spine to make your way back to child's pose, your hips to your heels, and again rolling through the spine, trying to separate vertebra by vertebra, hips to the ground into your cobra pose, your elbows are back and then you're opening up through your collarbones, and again rolling back down to child's pose. Take these movements a few times, trying to gain as much space as you're rolling forward in your back, and then open up through the chest, your gaze softly forward in your cobra pose. Now we'll all meet together back into our child's pose if you're not there already. Tuck the toes and send the hips back to the downward facing dog. We're going to tiptoe the feet all the way to the top of the mat. Your feet will be hip width apart and generously bending through the knees as you fold forward, releasing any tension in your back and your neck. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. And then slowly rolling up through the spine as you come into a standing position. Rolling your shoulders back and down, your palms at your side. Inhale to sweep the arms up above, palms touch. And as you exhale, micro bend through the knees as you fold forward from the hips into your forward fold. On your inhale, send your right leg towards the back of the room and drop the knee. And inhale, sweep your arms up into your low lunge. We want to pull the left hip back and the right hip forward. Bring your navel to your spine and lift your chest up tall. Maybe opening up through the arms more to open through the chest. Take a breath here, sending it down to the abdomen, feeling the expansion around your ribs, and exhaling slowly out through your nose. Inhale, reach up with your fingertips. And on the exhale, we're going to bring our right hand to the inside of our left foot. Bring your left knee to meet the right behind you and open up into a side plank. Keeping the knees together and engage your abs to lift up through the side body. Remembering to keep the weight more into the knuckles of your hand and reaching that arm up tall. Bring the top hand back down, rolling into your half plank on your knees and slowly lowering down to the mat, your elbows tracking to the back of the room. With your hips on the floor, press into the hand and send your chest forward and up. Maybe gaze up if it's good for your neck, and then slowly lowering back down. With strong arms and abs lifting up into your half plank and extending the hips into downward facing dog. Keeping a bend in the knees if it feels good and rolling the armpits in towards each other. Pressing down through the hands and creating as much space in your spine as possible. Focusing more on lengthening the back through this pose as opposed to stretching the hamstrings. Slowly begin to walk the toes to the front of the mat, into your forward fold, and this time taking a step back with your left foot to the back of the mat, dropping the knee, and inhale to sweep your arms up above, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, bringing your right hip back and your left hip forward. And a little tuck of the pelvis here will help you feel the stretch through your hip flexor on your left thigh. Deep breath here, relaxing through the jaw, maybe in between your eyebrows if you find you're tensing through your face. And keep your legs active by squeezing your feet towards each other. See if you can drop your hips a little bit more as gravity helps you sink towards the mat. Placing the left hand to the inside of the right foot and sending the right foot to meet the left, your knees together, and opening your right hand to the sky, coming into your side plank. Abs are engaged, you're lifting up through your side body. Bring your awareness to your hand. Notice if you're dumping your weight in your wrist, and just try bringing equal pressure to the entire hand. Bring the top arm back down. Your knees are still together in your half plank and slowly lowering down. Your chest reaching the mat first. Your hands come next to your ribs. The tops of your feet press into the mat as you lift up. Open your chest. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, lowering back down. Press through the hands as you lift to your half plank. And again, extend to downward facing dog. Tiptoeing the feet to the front of the mat. Coming to your forward fold. Inhale to roll up through the spine. As you exhale, soften the shoulders, hands come to your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms above, palms touch. And exhale, fold from the hips as you float to your forward fold. Your right leg takes a big step towards the back of the mat. Turn your right heel to face the back left corner of your mat. Your left knee is tracking over your left foot and rising up into warrior two. First, placing the palms to face the sky to allow your shoulders to roll back and down and then flipping the palms over, energetically reaching through the fingers to each side of the room. Angle your chest so it is facing directly towards the right, and maybe see if you can sink a little bit deeper through your left leg. Keeping your legs where you are, inhale to sweep your left arm up, opening your chest and your face towards the sky. Reverse warrior. We're going to prepare for a standing split. So bringing the arms to frame the left leg, we're going to lift our right leg up towards the sky, trying to keep your hips as square as possible. Your right leg might only be a little bit off the ground, and that's perfectly fine. You'll find that over time, you'll gain the strength to be able to lift it just a little bit further. You can either flex or point your foot, whatever is preferable to you. And from wherever you are, we're going to move into a little bit of a tricky transition, but we're going to bend through the left knee, bring the right knee to the outside of the left foot, and sit your hips to the mat, coming into a seated position, Ardha Matsyendrasana. If you find sitting on the ground really uncomfortable, you can grab one of your blocks and place it under you for a seat. And then we're going to wrap our right arm around our left leg, place our left hand as close to the spine as possible behind you, and twist to the left, gazing over your left shoulder. Try and squeeze that thigh in towards your stomach, and take a few deep breaths here. Turning to face the center, we're going to move out of this pause by placing the hands in front of you and leaning forward, pressing in with your left foot and sending your right leg towards the back of the mat, coming into a low lunge. Walk your hands to the center of the mat, point the toes to the right side of the mat, and move into your wide-legged forward fold. If you need a little bit of extra space, you can grab your two blocks and rest your hands on them. Otherwise, ensure that you're bending from the hips, trying to keep your back as straight as possible, micro bend through the knees, and let gravity do the work for you. If you'd like an additional shoulder stretch, you can clasp the hands behind your back and then drop them over your head. Maybe swaying them a little bit side to side to release any tension and open up through the back of your shoulders. Begin walking to the hands to the back of the mat this time and coming into a low lunge. This time your right foot is bent in front and your left leg is towards the back of the mat. Turn your left heel to face the back right corner of the mat and rising up into your warrior two. Arms at shoulder height, navel is pressed in towards your spine, and drop your shoulders away from your ears, creating space around your neck. Flip the right palm to face up and paint the sky with your hand as you reach back, creating a beautiful stretch through the right side of your body. Maybe sink a little bit deeper in your right leg. Preparing for our standing split again, place the hands next to the right foot. Bring the weight into the right and sweep your left leg back and up, keeping the hips square as possible. Maybe bringing your hand to the center of your lower back and seeing if this can help assist leveling the hips. Really ground down through that lower leg and reach up with the left. Coming to Ardha Matsyendrasana, bend through the right leg and bring the left knee to the outside of your right foot and sit down in between your feet. Again, grabbing a block if necessary to sit on. Wrapping your left arm around your right thigh, your right hand behind and gazing over your right shoulder, trying to sit as tall as possible, Keeping your chest proud and up, and squeezing that right leg in toward your abdomen. Take a few deep breaths here, feeling your belly on your inhale pressing against your inner right thigh. Turn to face forward, unravel your legs, bring the feet in front of you, and you can bring your hands behind to help push you up into your yogic squat, Malasana. If your hips are still feeling really tight today, you can grab a block to sit on. Your hands will come to prayer at your chest, actively pressing them together. Your elbows will be pressing into your inner thigh and your thighs into your elbows. Taking whatever micro movements you need to feel comfortable in this pose. Maybe swaying from side to side a little bit, trying to open up further into the hips. Maybe you'd like to push back a little bit on your legs to see if you can create more space. Maybe you'd just like to come to stillness, taking a moment of rest and just trying to quieten the mind. From here, we're going to drop back into a seated position. You might need to shuffle yourself back a little bit and come back to lie upon the mat. Keeping your left leg out long and bringing your right knee in towards your chest, squeezing it in, maybe opening up a little bit towards your right armpit. And then bump the hips over to the right and drop your right knee over towards the left. We want to aim more at keeping our right shoulder blade on the ground as opposed to getting your right knee to the ground. Arms can come out to cactus or straighten out and gaze over to the right side. Slowly bringing your right knee back over towards your chest and then sending it out long, replacing it with the left knee in towards your chest. Again, squeezing that knee in towards you, maybe opening over towards the left armpit. And then shifting your hips over to the left as you send your left knee over to the right. Your left shoulder blade on the mat, your arms at whatever variation you prefer, and your gaze is over your left shoulder. Slowly bringing the left knee back in towards the chest, and then sending both legs out long. We're going to move into Matsyasana. So bringing the hands underneath your buttocks, so you're sitting on the top of your hands. Your elbows are as close together as possible. And when you're ready, we're going to press up using our forearms to lift our chest towards the sky, bringing the top of the head to rest upon the mat and opening up through the front of your throat. Really keeping your arms engaged for this entire pose and seeing if you can relax everywhere else in your body. Slowly begin to lower back down. We're going to move into our final pose before Savasana. We're going to move into Bananasana, a banana-shaped pose. So coming to the center of your mat, you're going to send your feet over to the right side and then shift your shoulders over towards the right, trying to keep both shoulder blades flat on the mat. And I also like to bring my arms above my head, grasping around your elbows, as this can help also open through your chest. If you'd like a little bit more, you can bring your left ankle over the top of your right. And maybe even just shuffling your shoulders over to the right to create more of a stretch through the left side of your body. Softening here, relaxing through all your muscles, relaxing through your face, and bringing your awareness to your breath. Trying to keep your breath as even and deep as possible. Moving back to center and coming to the other side, sending your feet over towards the left, your shoulders over towards the left, creating that nice crescent shape, your arms in whatever variation you took last time, and just checking in, seeing if you can feel that nice stretch on your right side, and if you can't, maybe moving a little bit deeper. It doesn't matter how much you're curved, how subtle your shape is, as long as you can feel a nice stretch through the right side, then you're just where you need to be right now. Coming back to center, sending both feet to the outside edges of your mat, bringing your palms by your side, facing upwards, and begin to slowly scan your body from bottom to top. And as you scan, see if you can relax the muscles as you move up towards the top of your head. Make the scan slow, really noticing how your body feels in this moment. Noticing if it feels any different to the beginning of the class. If any areas that were feeling especially tight have maybe loosened a little bit. Until your whole body is relaxed on the floor. The ground is supporting your weight. You can almost feel gravity helping you sink lower into the mat. The muscles in your face are entirely relaxed. And thank yourself for taking the time to practice yoga today. You can stay here for as long as you like. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope to see you next time.